you read the title, you saw the thumbnail. This is how strong is Doma. Just so this video is clear, this will be talking about the full power Doma and holding back when we see based on his feats. Since Doma is often overrated, and based off the poll, at least my audience thinks he's closer to Akaza than he is to Kokushibu. This will also cover all of the abilities that we see, so this video is going to be split into three sections: misconceptions, holding back scaling, and his full power scaling. Some misconceptions. I first want to cover him not being able to hold back because he lacks emotions. So all his feats, all his full power, which blatantly does make sense. Since he's relative to Inosuke and he splits him, holding back is not an emotion. If I were to jog, then do a full sprint, that's not a emotion. If I were to lift less, then start trying more and lift a bigger weight, that's not an emotion. Doma is not the Hokulo, bro. So I really don't see how him not having emotions means he can't hold back. That would mean if I threw a slow punch and a fast one, that's an emotion. And it's not. I swear. Doma haters would just say everything is an emotion, bro. Next misconception I want to cover is him getting blitzed by Shinobu. People will say he gets blitzed multiple times, but Shinobu doesn't have a big win con, so she loses. This, however, isn't true, and Shinobu doesn't blitz Doma a single time. In their first interaction, when Shinobu grabs the girl from Doma, yes, Doma got outsped. But let me finish, you dirty glazer. Yes, Doma got outsped because right after, Doma perception blitzes Shinobu and kills the girl. The reason I say this is because we see the girl has cut marks on her. The reason I say this is because we see the girl has cut marks on her. She's obviously be cut. And none of Doma's abilities would allow him to do this. So we ever had to run up to the girl and run back before Shinobu noticed. She also has multiple cuts on her, so it couldn't be the one cut we see Doma try and do on the girl. Later, when we see Shinobu stab Doma in the eye, Doma says he couldn't block the attack, and the fanbook supports this, saying Doma couldn't block the attack. This still isn't a blitz, as Doma was made to yap and caught off guard, and healing reacts putting his hand up to block the attack, but Shinobu's sword just went between his hands. Say for example, I'm talking to someone, they go to attack me, I try to block, but miss because the opponent's attack was precise. That's not a blitz. Then, when Shinobu is mental amped, she doesn't blitz Doma. The entire point of Shinobu's attack is to confuse the opponent. So it makes sense to why Doma couldn't react, because the attack was confusing. Doma literally reacts and blocks part of the attack, and almost hit Shinobu too. So I don't know how you glazers can say this was a perception blitz if Doma literally blocks part of the attack and looks straight at her when she's attacking. But no. Mental amped Shinobu is perception blitzing Doma, and Shinobu is one of the fastest Hashira. So, since I hopefully got all the misconceptions out of the way, I'll scale holding back Doma. Since I know people are going to use that Doma to scale him, or call him Canon Doma. So this is where Doma would scale, assuming he's not holding back. Doma should be above Shinobu. This because Shinobu just can't dodge his attacks, and Doma blocks all of her attacks, and only decided to get hit by Shinobu to hit her back, knowing he'll heal it back because he's a demon. Then, after Shinobu gets mental amped, she confuses Doma with her technique. I just crashed out about how this isn't a perception blitz, so I won't explain why again. They are relative, with Doma having the advantage. Also, keep in mind, Doma doesn't use any of his techniques. Doma is then pretty even with Kana and Inosuke. Assuming the blitz he got on Inosuke was just an outlier. Same with Kana. If you watch my Common Vocal Squad video, you will know Inosuke and Kana should be relative or stronger than Mark Q. Again, Doma is barely using any of his abilities, so keep that in mind. Doma should be above Inosuke and Kana because he only gets hit twice. So I would say it's comparable, if not a little bit stronger than full power Akaza, because Common Vocal Squad being relative to Mark Q, and Mark Q, of course, being relative to Akaza. For full power Doma, not holding back, his scaling is kinda complicated, and we can't get an exact mark on his scaling, so I'll just say a general level. First, I want to cover his interactions with Akaza in the Upper Moon meeting. Something obvious is that Doma's durability is actually pretty bad. Of course, you see Kana cut opens Doma, and Shinobu can cut him too. Doma shouldn't hold back durability, it doesn't have a reason to, since he's a demon, and just heal it back. This is supported by Akaza pretty much being able to one-shot Doma. I know that sounds crazy, but we see Akaza easily tear off portions of Doma with his punches. Yes, it was in the full head, and demons' necks are more durable, but my point still stands. If Akaza used something like Disorder or Final Form, assuming Doma tries to tank it like a DBZ villain, he's getting cooked. Something else to note from the Upper Moon reading is that Doma says Akaza knows he can't beat him. Them, in this context, being him and Kokushibu, we see Akaza get more angry and not respond, implying he knows this is true. Now for his fight in the Infinity Castle, we're gonna assume he's holding back. Him holding back is supported by him saying that if he plays around much, he gets in trouble. Implying this is a usual thing that happens with Doma playing around too much. And he was about to do it again but stopped because of Akaza's death. This is supported by Doma perception boosting Shinobu, Kana, and Inosuke. The perception boosted Shinobu when he kills a girl, and when he cuts her. Later, Doma perception boosted her again because Shinobu is surprised that Doma hit her and didn't notice the attack. Doma later perception boosted Kana when he's observing Shinobu. This is because Kana goes up to try and save Shinobu, and Doma moves completely behind him, and she doesn't even notice. He then later perception boosts her again, but that's arguable since he disappeared into the smoke. He then perception boosts Inosuke, grabbing his mask. So that's pretty much it for scaling in terms of speed. And he doesn't really have any AP feats besides being able to one-shot Shinobu and slash Kana and Inosuke. Shinobu being buns. So nothing really notable to say, so I'll just talk about his abilities now. Of course, there's those ice abilities to freeze lungs when attacking. The rest, all the random ice abilities he has. Those two main things are ice clones and Buddha statue. He says when finding Kana and Inosuke, he summons 2 ice clones and says he can summon 7 more, all with equal technique to him. This is supported by the ice clones pressing Kana and Inosuke. So just imagine 7 ice clones with equal technique to Doma pressing you, and a giant ice statue also attacking you. So just imagine someone's getting jumped like a JJK and have ultimate Mechamaru there. Plus, he also doesn't have emotions, which some people use to read attacks and act as precog, which he doesn't have, so it'll be harder to read his attacks. Doma is closer to Kokushiba than he is to Akaza. I of course don't think he's on Kokushiba's level. Let's just say, for example, Kokushiba's tier 1, Doma is 2, Akaza is 3. Wow, just like their ranking. So hopefully this video helped scale a full power Doma and a holding back one. Doma is closer to Kokushiba than Akaza. You guys are wrong in my poll. Like, sub, peace.